It's time to mind your business with me, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in to find out how to mind your business with BEDC, special guest entrepreneurs, industry experts, and more. Brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda business starts here. Welcome to Mind Your Business. I am so pleased to have you here. You are Sasha Benson, founder of Benson Esthetics. Today we're going to talk a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey and what sparked your interest into running and operating your own business. But before we get into those questions, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So yes, I am Sasha Benson, the CEO and founder of Benson Esthetics. I've established 3 med spas from scratch, with the third being my very own venture. Aside from being a skincare specialist, an educator, and trainer, I'm also a mother to 2 busy, beautiful, brilliant little girls, Abigail and Olivia, and the wife of 16 years and counting to the most supportive husband in the world, Albert.
All right, Albert. We need that, right?
Yes.
Especially as a wife and mother and entrepreneur.
Oh my gosh, for sure. That support is so mandatory.
It is necessary.
It is.
So can you talk a little bit about what sparked your journey to consider starting your own business?
Yes, well, we started Benson Esthetics. We started to formulate it in 2020 of December, and this was happening right during the peak of COVID. So we had some challenges there, but it was such a beautiful experience to witness the birth of it from such a humble start to where it is now. Has been incredible. And I think I've always had a pretty clear vision of what I wanted BE or Benson Esthetics to be. I wanted it to be small, intimate, excellent results, the best products, the best devices, and we were able to accomplish that. So I'm so happy where we are.
Can you talk a little bit about Benson Esthetics and what it is what the services you provide and why you thought it important to establish yourself in this industry?
Yes, so Benson Esthetics offers a full range of skin corrective procedures. So we're talking about rosacea treatments, age management, acne, all the way down to body contouring, where we offer laser lipo, lymphatic drainage, EMS muscle stimulation, literally head to toe for everything corrective, everything to make women especially to feel confident and empowered in their own body and in their own skin.
So when you decided to start Benson Esthetics, you mentioned that you'd started 2 other spas previously.
Yes.
What kind of learning did you learn from those previous ventures?
A ton of learning. In fact, when I was first hired to start my first med spa in Bermuda for a doctor, I knew nothing about starting a business. I literally came into Bermuda from school from Georgia, and the doctor handed me a notepad, and he said, write down every treatment you know how to do and create a spa menu. And I was like, what? Then he gave me his credit card and said, order everything you need to build a med spa. I had no idea about best shipping or Bermuda forwarders. I did everything through postal mail. We had crazy shipping fees, but it was such an incredible experience to have full control on designing the spa for another doctor. And I think we used the regulations that's set in the US, UK, and according to Canadian law. And so having that as my first job, my first stepping stone, it set a high standard for BE. I knew exactly what I wanted, and I knew what I didn't want in a business.
That's awesome. I mean, that's like what we call experiential learning at the highest, right?
Yes.
So even though you were doing it for someone else, definitely you're taking that learning for yourself and saying, okay, one day. So was it always your intention to start BE?
No, it wasn't. That's a crazy thing. I love building businesses. I love helping doctors to expand their services. And really how it came about is that in 2020, a physician sought me out to help her expand her medical practice. She wanted to open a med spa within her facility. Well, during this time, we started to get a few cases of COVID, and then flu season was around the corner, and she became very scared and uneasy and a ton of doubt. So I said, you know what? In order to do happy medicine, we have to be happy. We got to be in a position to put in the work and be confident about going forward with this venture. So we decided to put a pin in it. Well, by then I had already developed a plan. I had a spa name for this company. I picked out her skincare line. So I went to my mentor who introduced the two of us, and I said, hey, listen, Doc, I'm all fired up now.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I'm ready to go. What should I do?
Yeah.
And he said, well, if you want to do a few services in the evenings, I have a room you can use. I said, really? So I started doing treatments within his dental office at Paget Dental Group.
Okay.
In a hygienist chair.
Wow.
And it was the best decision ever. I'm so grateful for Dr. Faye for opening his doors to me, because I would never change that. It was incredible, and having the support of my family. I remember wheeling my suitcase into the dental office. Are you guys done, patients?
Yeah.
Okay. Pack away their instruments, unpack my spa decor, my purple linen, the whole 9 yards, and then have to close it all back and wheel it back home. It was a humbling start, but I enjoyed it. And that's how BE started, really.
I love that story, because I think it helps people to understand that even though you had not, that wasn't like on your plan.
Yes.
You were like, no, I'm going to do this. I'm going to work with these other doctors. But being able to do it yourself with the information and knowledge that you had has led you to starting your own spa.
Yes.
So talk to me a little bit about how you went from having a chair in someone else's office to having a full-fledged spa. Like, what kind of regulatory things did you have to go through to make that leap?
Yes, so I started there, and I had a lot of resistance there. A lot of pushback, trying to get approval to open a spa in a dental practice during COVID. There were so many red flags in everyone's eyes. How would you keep them safe? I was told no one's going to want to come to a dental office to get a facial. You're crazy. But somehow we met those standards. We had the autoclave, the sterilization. We utilized an iomolecular rinse that actually helps to deactivate the coronavirus in the palate. We had surgically clean air towers instilled. Everything was there for our client's protection. So once the hygienist basically gave me the boot, said, okay, listen, you're taking up too much space. I had to move. So I moved to an outhouse on the same property of Paget Dental Group. Now this outhouse just had a sink. It's maybe 300 square feet. And I said, wow, this is cool. But I'm still sharing it with a hygienist. So I started to be in there now longer periods of times, from like Friday night. I can leave my equipment set up all the way through Sunday. So we started to gain a bit more traction. Clients were loving the results, loving the atmosphere. I converted like a Mayo-Brace educational room into a spa. I had all my stuff still in suitcases in the back, but I made it comfortable, and that's what I always wanted. I never envisioned a large company with like thousands of clients. I always envisioned it simple,
being like a
intimate,
boutique sort of.
Exactly. And I really wanted to focus on results. I've seen people going to the salon or to the spa, seeing a dermatologist for years, being on Accutane for years, and not getting results. And I wanted to change that. So as our clientele began to increase, I realized, listen, it's a bit of a hassle every Sunday packing up everything and then opening back up on a Monday. So I started to look for other properties, and I came across the Cavendish House. And as soon as I saw it online, I said, this is it. In fact, I told the agent, I said, listen, don't show this place to anyone else because it's going to be mine. And he said, I can't promise you that. But I saw it, and I just knew this was just like another big box, but a bigger box. It needed a lot of work. But now I had my own bathroom. I had a kitchenette. And so from there, I built it. I changed one room into two. We built a skin bar. And it just slowly came together in such an incredible, natural way. And I think the best part was having my youngest daughter with me.
She came with me. See that. Future entrepreneur in the making, right?
Absolutely.
I love that.
She came, and we got the keys to the property together. She helped me assemble the stool. She even did some painting. So shout outs to Olivia.
I love that story, and I love the ability for you to show your daughter what it takes to build your own business, because I think that's what's missing sometimes with our young people is letting them know that this is possible. If you have a dream, you can actually see it through to fruition. Now, with your location, you're fully in your own space. I want to talk a little bit about your clients and clientele. How did you gain that support and that following? Because they followed you obviously from the chair in the dentist's office straight through to where you're located now at Cavendish. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Some of the clients that I have now are the ones I had from my very first med spa that I built in 2007.
Okay.
And so once they have a relationship with you and they trust you with their skin, they're with you for life. And that's what I love about it. So we continue to build our clientele based on referrals. I feel like our clients who we refer to as our BE elites, our elites, they are their own community within themselves. I have plenty of new clients who say, you know so-and-so, I watched her skin transform.
Wow.
I want you to do the same thing for me. And that is a challenge because you two are totally different lifestyles, but we're gonna do the best we can. But most of them are within our own community, referring their friends, their family members. We have a lot of teenagers that come in for our teen acne boot camp programs.
Okay.
So once they're clear, the mom's like, all right, pushing him to the curb.
Fix me.
It's my turn. Yeah. So
I love that.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about the product mix, because so you mentioned the teen boot camp.
Yes.
Like how you come up with this stuff? Like where did this come from? But
Yes.
it's working, obviously. Can you
Absolutely.
talk a little bit about
so that's
that?
I'm a certified face reality acne expert.
Okay.
So under the face reality umbrella, which is the global #1 acne brand in the world, we're taught to do different treatments for teens up to adults. And so at Teen Acne Boot Camp, our clients come in once a week for treatments. We cover diet, supplementation, habits. Every 2 weeks, the routine changes. It's an entire program to holistically treat and encourage our young ones from the inside out.
Right.
How to make healthier choices. Why is it important? Why should I not pick my skin? Can I treat my acne without medication? So we have these in-depth discussions and trainings with them every single week.
Okay. So, I mean, you're a doctor? Like,
No.
I'm like, you sound like a doctor. I'm like, now, wait a minute. So, talk a little bit about that, like your experience and your learnings, like how you got to where you are now, because you are an expert. Because I
Yes.
hear you talking and I'm thinking like, okay, wait a minute.
Yes, so years of experience and training, for sure. From the very start of my career, I often take trips abroad at least 2 to 3 times per year for continuing education.
Okay.
So I'm constantly reading, studying, I'm learning under the leaders in the aesthetics world from, again, the UK, the US, all over. And then even right here at home, every Tuesday I'm in class. Tuesday at 1:30 is our skin treatment class I do with PCA. So every week and then several times a year, I'm constantly learning. And then also by experience, when you're in it for as long as I have been, you learn to treat every single different skin type and condition.
Yeah.
You learn the incorrect way and the correct way. And I had the pleasure and privilege to work in other doctors' offices. I was able to learn the good and the bad from all of them. And really that helped to shape me into how I wanted to treat my clients.
I love that. And I was going to ask you, like, is there any speciality that you have in terms of skin? Because brown skin or melanated skin is different from skin that doesn't have melanin.
Yes.
Do you specialize in anything, or is it just anyone is welcome?
Anyone is welcome. What's interesting is that with my first career, it's for this big-time millionaire doctor. So imagine his clientele.
Yes.
We're mostly like expats, mostly Canadian, mostly like Fitzpatrick's 1 through 3. So I learned how to treat lighter skin tones initially, and then I moved to another practice, and it was 80% local.
Right.
So I had really the best of both worlds in treating various different skin types, from Asian to African to Bermudian to every single nationality you can think of. And in my courses, that's what I love about it. It's so diverse, and we're not married to one particular model because everyone's skin is unique and different. So I think by having a thorough understanding of the skin, how the skin works, it helps you to build a plan for a client on an individual basis.
Yeah, so it's very bespoke. I wish the medical industry was like that, because you're right.
Yes.
Like, everybody's skin is different. Mine might be drier, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And so you need to be aware of that and know what to do to support whatever the skincare regimen should be.
Yes, absolutely.
So now I want to talk to you about what you deem as success for you, and how and if your success measures have changed over time.
I would say they have not changed.
Okay.
Success for me isn't monetary, it's freedom. I've worked for companies where they've flown me business class all over the world, the best hotels. I've worked for companies where if we would go on a business trip, the doctor would give each staff member a large cash allowance, all expenses paid. That wasn't freedom for me. Freedom for me is having control of my time, being able to block off dates for a sports day, special assemblies. My daughter has a recital coming up. I'm going to that. I want to take them to the exhibition this year. I'm doing that. That is true freedom. Now, will I be a millionaire at that business model? No. But to me, I'm successful because I am free. I don't have to beg for time off. I don't have to barter with other staff members because we all want the same holiday off.
Yeah.
It's a totally different measure of success that I'm really enjoying.
I love that. And I don't think people realize that. Sometimes people think, oh, I want to start my own business. I want to go down this entrepreneurial journey because I want to be rich.
Right.
But how do you define what rich is, right? And for you, it's like you said, the freedom to be able to do. I mean, you look fabulous. So you,
thank you.
you still do what you need to do to keep your pockets up. But like you said, it's your peace of mind, your ability to be there for your daughters and take the time off when you need it. I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I want to talk a little bit about your accolades.
Okay.
So, in November, the BDC hosts the BDC Business Awards, and you were recognized as Entrepreneur of the Year. What was that like?
That was amazing. When I first received the email to invite me to the event and to notify that I had been nominated, I thought it was spam.
Yeah.
I said, there's spammers out there trying to get me. Do I click on this? And so I slowly began to open the email and read. I said, this seems legit. But in my mind, I said, you know what? Just so you don't get disappointed, just picture going to a nice, fancy dinner. And that was my preparation.
Yeah.
I had no idea that I would win. So when they announced my name, I was like, what? But that was so huge for me because I feel like I put in a lot of effort and energy into my clients, and they are the ones who voted for me. I had no idea. So that was like, hey, what you're doing, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
And so I feel that to my heart. Even now, I'm still amazed. I have the trophy at my front desk, and I'm like, wow, this thing is heavy, number one. And this is real. I'm Entrepreneur of the Year.
Yeah.
But it's all thanks and credit to my clientele. I love them tremendously.
Oh my, and they love you back.
Yes.
No, I think it's important because sometimes it can be thankless, right? You do what you love. You get fulfillment and passion out of providing the service, but sometimes outside of seeing the results, you don't necessarily hear it and you're not necessarily recognized. So I think for us, when we said we wanted to do these awards, we know how hard you work.
Yes.
We know what you have to go through, right?
Yes.
And so to recognize you for your excellence, for your customer service, for, you know what I mean? Your customers are nominating you.
Yes.
And saying we appreciate the services that you provide. And so congratulations again on that.
Thank you so much.
It was well deserved. So now let's talk about a global view of what you do and how you stay ahead of the curve. You talked a little bit about training already, but how do you view BE against other players in the industry?
That's a very great question. I think we stay current with science and technology. I'm not one to really follow or chase trends because trends, they come and go. Like now people putting Nutella on their face.
Girl, no.
It's crazy.
What?
Yes.
I had no idea.
trends come and go. Well, I follow science and I
Yes,
follow
okay.
innovations and I follow innovators. I find that when it comes to social media, you got to be mindful of who you follow, like who is inspiring you to do better, greater things that you currently are. And this year has opened up so many doors to me that I never thought was possible. We have estheticians abroad who have, let's say, 30, 50,000 followers. They're working under an MD so they can do laser treatments. And here I am, this little independent entrepreneur in Bermuda that no one even hears of. But now we're getting the recognition from overseas companies.
Okay.
We now have global partnerships. Like I'm now a brand ambassador for 2 major companies in the US. And soon I'll be doing educational courses. So it's been incredible just being able to step out of my box, out of my comfort zone. It's easy to get comfortable.
Yeah.
6-year nucleus, I go to work, I go home. But when you open yourself to receive bigger blessings, bigger awards, I mean, the world is open.
I love that. So when you think about that, what do you envision your business to be? Like, what is your wildest dream? What do you want it to be when it grows all the way up?
When it grows all the way up.
Yeah.
We have a lot of huge projects in the making.
Okay.
A lot of them. And I would say that I'm still currently making the sandwich. I don't want no one biting it yet until the sandwich is made and it's on the table. So you got to stay tuned.
Yeah.
But there are huge things in store. And there's so much potential for Bermuda. I feel like since BE opened, there have been so many more smaller spas popping up. And that's beautiful. That's exciting for me to see. Different STs or even nurses leaving big companies, doing their own thing, knowing that they can do it. Like, this girl did it. I'm a nurse. Why can't I do it?
Right.
And it's incredible. We have so many opportunities here. And even though there's quite a lot of spas here, I feel that everyone brings something different, something unique. Just like how when you go away, there's a McDonald's on every single corner. That doesn't stop Burger King from opening up or Wendy's, right? So I feel there's a lot of power in collaboration and finding your niche and being excellent in that.
Yeah, I agree with you too. People sometimes, because we're in the business of working with people and helping them start their businesses. And so some will come and be like, well, I'm not going to do that because we already have someone that's doing it. And I feel like, but are they going to do it the way you do it?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? What's your secret sauce? How are you making it different?
Yeah,
And you mentioned early on the experience that you created, even when you were using a dental chair, right? You still created this experience where your customers felt, I guess, a sense of relief, like they were coming and escaping their day-to-day. So how you do it, I think, also plays a role in being able to achieve what your biggest dream or your big vision. That's what we call them.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you a little bit about, you mentioned your community, but what are some of the things or tools that you use to reach, I guess, new market share or new customers? Because you have this tight-knit community and word of mouth is one of them. But what other kinds of marketing, social media tools do you use to kind of?
Definitely social media.
Okay.
And I think the part that we often forget is that we have to be social on social media. We have to actually collaborate and interact. If you're going to like someone's post, tell them why you like it. Start building that relationship. People don't buy services, they buy into people. So you have to be effective at telling your story. They'll get to know you. They have to then begin to like you, and then they buy from you. That's been the biggest thing for us. It's definitely being social on social media, collaborating, giving high fives to people who you would think is your competitor, but cheering them on. And I've had referrals from other businesses who do similar services. I'm like, gee, thanks, sis. They're like, hey, we don't do acne like you. You need to go see Sasha. And I say, well, hey, I don't have a laser machine. You need to go see Karen. So we definitely, there's enough for everyone.
I love
That's
that.
what I say.
Look, community over competition.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Absolutely.
So if you could talk to your younger self and say 3 things maybe that you have learned on this journey, what 3 things would you tell your younger self?
Oh, wow. I would tell myself it's going to get better. Keep studying and dream big.
I love that.
Yeah.
And when you say dream big, what are you saying to yourself?
Well, growing up, we grew up extremely poor, like very, very underprivileged. There was like 8 of us in a 2-bedroom house.
Okay.
Right? Forget peanut butter and jelly. We had peanut butter and butter sandwiches.
Okay. Look, I can say I've partaken.
Yes.
I've partaken in those.
I mean, I remember in school, children used to like poke fun and saying that my house, I lived in the shack. Because the house was like very unwelcoming, to say the least, right? And also at the time of my young childhood, my mother and brother were both battling a terminal illness. So we had a lot of adversities going on, but still there was so much love in the family.
Yeah.
We had fun. We made each other feel good. There was laughter. So I think that really is what sparked my journey and desire to build a safe place for women of all backgrounds, no matter what your circumstances. When you come into BE, you're loved, you're respected, and we honor you. From the real estate agents to the doctors to the lawyers they get the same love as our waitresses, our single parents, and our teenagers.
Right.
They're all treated exactly the same. And I think that's what really helped to shape who I am now, having that beginning and that very humble start.
Yeah.
It really put like that kind of go-getting entrepreneurial spirit in me.
I love that. And I think it's important, and it helps to differentiate you from other service providers, I think. Because for me, I think when you're looking for a service provider or looking for someone, because your skin, that's your biggest organ, but it's also very personal. That's the first thing that people see.
Yeah.
So to trust someone with that, you want to feel comfortable and confident that they are looking out for your best interest.
Yes.
And you can feel the sincerity,
for
at
sure.
least I can feel it. Y'all may not. I can feel it. And what you do and how you care for people. And I think that's extremely important. One of the other things I wanted to ask you about is you beautiful. I told you you're pretty and pink today. But when you talk about Benson Esthetics and the brand, you're Sasha Benson, right? Your name is in the name of the business. How important is the brand and you being part of the brand, like you being front and center of Benson Esthetics? How important is that?
It was different to adapt to that because I'm used to being behind the scenes. I'm the one who builds a business for someone else according to their likeness and their brand, and I'm behind the scenes saying, yep, you're doing good. So for me to be the face of my own brand was kind of different at first. I wasn't used to being out front and outspoken, but I think it's so important that it matches my morals and my ethics. And the same way how I want to be treated, the same way how I would treat my mother is how I treat every other woman that comes into the spa, right? So I think that is the synergy there, is treating others exactly how I would expect a service. And when I go into doing a treatment, I go in with the mindset as I'm the consumer. What if I'm the client? I'm laying down. What do I see when I look up?
Right.
I'm putting on my shoes. What's on the floor? Like, I'm very, very particular about the experience from when they walk in the door to when they use the bathroom. How is the toilet roll laid? Like, everything has to be a certain way.
Yeah.
And it's all a part of that experience.
Yeah, I would agree. And I heard you say women. So do you exclusively treat women or?
No, we have about, I would say, 10% men.
Okay.
And it's usually the wives that say, listen, you need to go see her.
Go fix it.
Get those skin tags off your neck. You need a facial.
Right.
They're the most consistent. The men will come in perhaps like maybe a couple times a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But the women are like, listen, pre-book me for the next 6 months.
Yes, I love that. And that guarantees you know what your business is going to look like, and so you can plan accordingly.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so outside of the business, you mentioned your children. What are some of the other things that you enjoy doing or that you're passionate about?
Let's see. I love cooking.
Okay.
I love cooking. I love the art of the presentation of what I cook. It has to be layered on a white plate, the sauce at the bottom, the parsley flakes, all of that. And then I'm old school and simple. I like card games, Monopoly, Scrabble. We have like Jeopardy, Family Feud at home, like everything you can think of. karaoke nights, date nights with my sister, date nights with my husband. It's like, it's all about family and enjoying our time together.
I love that. And it's important, I think, because when you're running your own business, you're like the chief everything officer.
Yes. Yes.
So you have to do all the things, but it's also important to take time for yourself and to do the things that pour into you so that you can show up and be ready.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you're servicing people. So another question. If you could go back in time and meet any historical figure, who would it be and why?
Historical figure. When I think of like a historical figure, I think of someone who you, I guess, would perhaps admire, someone who's inspired you or inspired others around you. So it's going to sound weird, but the first person that came to mind was my mom.
Okay.
Yeah. My mom succumbed to her illness when I was 10. And the last few years of her life, she was very, very ill. And so I can count probably on one hand the good memories that I have of her. So if I can go back in time, I would want to meet her.
Oh.
Really get to know her. And you know what's interesting? My grandma just told me, like earlier this year, that it was always her dream to build a med spa.
Really?
Yeah, and I had
no
idea.
That's amazing.
Really? She said that my mom would talk about it all the time. It was as if that she had the keys to the spa, and all she had to do was just open the door and walk in. And I said, wow, thank you for sharing that with me.
That. And you did not know.
At all. I had no idea. And so when I meet her again, I would like to share with her that I was able to fulfill her dream and her granddaughters were a part of it from the beginning to the end.
I love that. Look, she's looking right now. She's like, yeah, I know that. I know that. Yep, I told you to do that.
Right.
You know,
that's why it's in your heart.
That's why it's in your heart.
Yeah.
And that's why it, like, some things happen organically, right?
Yes.
And so you don't know why, divine intervention or whatever it is that you believe. And so it seems like you had that connection anyway with your mom. I love that.
Yes.
Oh,
Don't have me crying up in here.
I'm like,
my lashes fall out.
Okay, so let's end on a fun note. So if Benson Esthetics was a movie, which genre would you want it to be, and who would you want to play you?
Oh my gosh. I think it would be a love story.
Okay.
It would be a love story from me to me, and me to all the women, men, and teens out there who want to really just fall back in love with their skin and with their bodies. And the person to play me would have to be my daughter, Abigail.
All right, Abigail.
She is my twin through and through.
Really?
We look exactly alike. We finish each other's sentences. It's kind of scary. She's like a better version of me, I find.
I love that. Look, we're keeping it all in the family here. It's obvious that family is extremely important for you.
Absolutely.
And through your business, it seems like you're building a legacy for your daughters to thrive off of, the foundation that's being built for them. I just want to thank you so much for coming in and sharing a bit of yourself and your story and your journey with us. I'm wishing you success, strength to strength. And look, I guess I better be booking my appointment.
Yes, honey. Thank you so much for having me, and absolutely anytime. I would love to have you over.
Well, thank you so much for minding your business with us today. And remember, if you don't mind your business, who will? Thanks for tuning in to Mind Your Business with me, your host, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in next week, Thursday at 4 p.m. because if you don't mind your business, who will? Mind Your Business is brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda Business starts here.